And we're back. Okay, in the last video we created our 4 materials that we're going to use for our flipbook animation on the target surfaces. In this video we're going to write the code that actually is going to make the flipbook work and make the surface of the targets animate. Now we're going to use a couple of new little coding features, and we're going to revisit a couple that we've used in the past. But, you know, it's just pushing the envelope ever so slightly further out, giving you a few more tools in your toolbox that you can use. So let's get to it. So the first thing we're going to do is come into the project window to the Create menu and create a new script. And we're going to name this script Animate Target. Could be more descriptive, but that'll do. Double click to open the script editor. And we need to create some external, well, first we need to find it, and there we go. Okay, now we're going to create some external variables so that we can link our images or our materials to it. So we're going to create var mat01, and it is a material variable type, and var mat02, probably know where we're going with this, and then 3, and then 4. And then we're going to create one more external variable, and that is a counter. We're going to kind of use this like we used some of those external numbers in the motion of the targets, and this will let us track through the cycle of numbers, and it'll also let us put different offsets for the different targets. So we'll get to those, attaching those in a bit, but first here's the actual code that we're going to use. So the first thing we have is a material index, and that's an integer, and this is also going to cycle. So here we go, we've finished the code, and we've got our variables at the top, and then we've got all of these nested if statements, and we've got our counter down at the bottom, int counter plus plus. So that's going to start at 0 or whatever we started at for the individual targets, and just keep going, and it'll start at 0, 1, 2, 3, and as long as the game goes, as long as it can keep up with 30 cycles a second, the numbers are going to keep mounting up. So we're going to get a very, very big number, and it's not going to be a repeating number. And what we need to do is turn this into something that will repeat, kind of like what we did with the sine function, but we don't need to vary the variable like a sine. We just need it to be one thing for a while, then another thing, and then another thing, and then another thing. And the way we're going to do that is with this line right here that says material index equals int counter, int CTR, and then has this percent sign, and then the number 40. Now this is modulo or remainder division. What this says is whatever this int counter number is, and it's going to get to be a pretty big number if the game goes on for a while, take it and divide it by 40. And don't keep the whole number part, keep the remainder. So if the game's just starting out and the number is, say, 15, well, that's the remainder. But if the number is 60, if you divide it by 40, you get 1 with a remainder of 20. Well, we don't care about that 1. We just care about the 20. If the number was 420, well, you divide that by 40 and you get 10 for 400, and then have a remainder of 20 also. So the remainders will cycle. The remainders will go from 0, when it's an even multiple of 40, up to 39. So we'll have the numbers 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 39. And then we can use those, and that's what our if statements right below this do. So if the material index is less than 10, So that'll be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then it says for the renderer to use the material 01 for the target, whatever target we attach it to. Else, which means, okay, the material index value wasn't less than 10. If it's less than 20, and we already knew it was greater than, or it was not less than 10, let's say, from the first one. So if it's less than 20, for the first one to fail and the second one to succeed, it sort of like gets it to the second step. So the numbers have to be either 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, or 19 gets us into this second step, where the material is set to material 02. Else, if it's less than 30, we already knew it was at least 20 to get past that second step, then make it material 3. And if none of the three of those are successful, then the number, our remainder number, was not less than 30, which meant it was somewhere between 30 and 39, then set the material equal to material 4. Now, the game tries to cycle 30 times a second, which means this cycle will take 1 1/3 seconds. If you wanted it to cycle faster, you'd use smaller numbers. You try to keep the spacing even so that it looks like a smooth animation, but you could cut these numbers in half. You could double them if you wanted it to animate slower. You could put more of these in. I wouldn't put too many more. If you started getting 10, 15, 20 different images you were flipping through, well, that might start getting unwieldy here in these nested if statements. But for a limited number like this, it works fairly well. So it's what we want. Looks like it's correct. We'll come in and save it. And we can close our window. And there it is. Now these int counters we're going to change, but the thing we mostly have to do is attach the materials. So let's come down here, and we've got our bullseye materials. Just drag them over. We've done this before. Of course, you could actually attach them in the reverse order to make the animation run backwards, but we won't deal with that right now. That's good. We've got those images. So we've got the images linked to the materials, linked into the script. Now the target in the center is what we want to attach this to. And right now it's got this static image. So we're going to change that. We're just going to attach the script, and that's going to override that. So we drag it down and just drag to the bottom, and there, put it on there. And there it is. It's attached. We've got the materials. They all come along for the ride. We're all still sitting at this int counter of 0. We'll save it for now. And now let's run it so you can see this animation working. And there it is. So, you know, just a little subtle difference, one of the many little subtle differences that you add to a game to make it look better. That's kind of hard to tell. You can't really see these close enough at the same time to tell that they're all moving at the same time, but they are, and we're going to change that. So we'll do that in the next video. And that's it for now.